The global landscape of international football is a stage where narratives are forged in the fires of immense pressure, tactical chess matches, and the heavy weight of national expectation. Few teams on earth understand the crushing gravity of that expectation, quite like the England national football team. For decades, the phrase "three lions" has carried a dual meaning, representing both a rich, historic pride and a relentless media crucible that has chewed up and spit out some of the greatest generational talents the sport has ever seen. But at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, under the meticulous, high-intensity guidance of manager Thomas Tuchel, a distinctly different energy is sweeping through the English camp. This isn't a squad fractured by internal rivalries or weighed down by the ghosts of 1966. Instead, it is a team defined by an extraordinary sense of tactical clarity, mutual brotherhood, and a profound unifying synergy between its two most influential superstars, the generational phenom Jude Bellingham and the legendary captain Harry Kane. This structural and emotional harmony reached an absolute peak inside a rain-slicked MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, during England's final Group L clash against a fiercely resilient Panama side. Going into the match, the stakes were deceptively high. While England had opened their campaign with a resounding 4-2 victory over Croatia, a somewhat sluggish, uninspiring goalless draw against a stubborn Ghana team had left the door unlocked. The English public, true to form, had already begun to let anxiety creep into the headlines, questioning the offensive fluidity of Tuchel's setup and wondering if the team had hit a premature wall. Simultaneously, across the state line in Philadelphia, Croatia was taking care of business against Ghana, meaning anything less than a decisive victory for England could see them slip to second place in the group, a disastrous outcome that would force them into a brutal, unforgiving knockout bracket featuring a red-hot Portugal side and a potential quarter-final clash with Spain or Austria. The first 45 minutes against Panama did very little to calm those frayed nerves. Panama executed a brilliant, low-block defensive masterclass, compressing the spaces in the final third and entirely isolating Harry Kane from the game. The England captain was reduced to just 10 touches across the entire first half, the lowest of any player on the pitch. The supply lines were effectively choked, the counter-attack from Panama looked consistently dangerous, and the fluid, expansive football that fans expected felt completely locked away. But as the teams emerged from the tunnel for the second half, something clicked. The Three Lions shifted into an entirely different gear, demonstrating the exact emotional maturity and tactical adaptability that defines genuine World Cup contenders. The breakthrough finally came in the 62nd minute, courtesy of a moment of pure instinctive brilliance. Off a beautifully flighted corner kick from Bukayo Saka, Jude Bellingham found himself tightly marked, virtually locked in a bear hug by Panama's Jorge Gutierrez at the edge of the 6-yard box. Despite having his upper body completely restricted, the Real Madrid midfield maestro showed unparalleled physical strength and awareness, sticking out his left leg to stab a volley clean past the sprawling Orlando Mosquera. The stadium, dominated by a massive, ecstatic white wall of traveling English supporters, erupted. The deadlock was broken, the tension dissolved, and Jude Bellingham had once again proven why he is the emotional heartbeat of this modern English side. But the defining moment of the evening, and perhaps the entire group stage, occurred just 5 minutes later in the 67th minute. Finding space on the left flank, Bellingham looked up and spotted his captain moving with intent inside the penalty box. With absolute technical precision, the young midfielder delivered a majestic, curving cross that bypassed the entire Panamanian rearguard. Harry Kane, reading the flight of the ball perfectly, outjumped Andres Andrade, generating incredible power to head the ball firmly into the back of the net. It was a beautiful goal, a textbook piece of attacking synchronization, but its historical significance stretched far beyond the scoreline. With that single header, Harry Kane registered his 11th career goal at a World Cup finals, officially surpassing the legendary Gary Lineker's long-standing record of 10 goals to become England's undisputed all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history. It was a monumental achievement, a towering milestone that cemented Kane's legacy not just as a prolific modern striker, but as an absolute titan of English football folklore. By adding this historic finish to his earlier brace against Croatia, Kane also propelled himself right back into the thick of the 2026 Golden Boot race, standing alongside global icons like Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappé, and Erling Haaland. In the immediate aftermath of the final whistle, as Oasis's Wonderwall blared through the stadium speakers and players embraced on the pitch, the media spotlight naturally converged on Jude Bellingham. Journalists were eager to gather the young superstar's thoughts on his own match-winning performance and the tactical adjustments that saved England's group campaign. But instead of absorbing the praise or focusing on his own brilliant contribution, Bellingham made a sweet, unprompted, and utterly definitive statement about his captain that quickly sent shockwaves through the sporting world. Speaking directly to the broadcast cameras with a level of maturity and poise that completely belies his young age, Bellingham chose to entirely redirect the narrative, using his platform to pay the ultimate tribute to Harry Kane. Bellingham stated that Kane continues to raise his level in a way that is nothing short of incredible, emphasizing that the record is everything the captain truly deserves. He urged the public to look past the raw numbers and witness the sheer volume of silent effort, the relentless leadership, and the structural selflessness that Kane brings to the squad day in and day out. Then, Bellingham delivered the definitive line that would dominate back pages the following morning, stating flatly and without a shred of hesitation that, for him, Harry Kane is quite simply the best England player of all time. Bellingham expanded on this sweet sentiment during his post-game press conferences, painting a vivid picture of what it is actually like to share a pitch with a player of Kane's historic caliber. He explained that over the last 4 or 5 years, he has meticulously built a deep, unspoken telepathic relationship with Harry on and off the field. He noted that playing alongside the captain is an absolute honor and, in all honesty, makes football feel remarkably easy. Bellingham described Kane's current technical and physical form as being on an entirely different level, an elite tier of performance where doubt simply ceases to exist. He remarked that whenever the team finds itself in a difficult spot, the entire squad shares a quiet, unwavering confidence that Kane will inevitably step up, alter the geometry of the game, and deliver the decisive blow, which is exactly what unfolded in New Jersey. This public declaration from Bellingham is highly significant, not just because of the immense praise it bestows, but because of the specific cultural and tactical context of this England squad. Historically, major tournaments have seen English camps divided by camp cliques, fragile egos, and subtle undercurrents of jealousy between star players competing for individual headlines. We saw it in the golden generation of the 2000s, where world-class talents struggled to coexist because the structural framework of the team was choked by individual pride. But the relationship between Bellingham and Kane represents a complete rejection of those old toxic paradigms. Here you have a 22-year-old global icon playing for Real Madrid and widely considered a future Ballon d'Or winner, completely humbling himself to ensure his 32-year-old captain receives his rightful flowers on the world stage. It is a testament to the profound team spirit and collective humility that Thomas Tuchel has successfully injected into the training ground. The mutual admiration didn't stop there, as the captain was quick to return the praise, launching into his own detailed breakdown of why Bellingham's contribution is completely indispensable to England's World Cup dreams. When informed of Bellingham's comments, Kane smiled warmly, shifting the focus right back to the midfielder's sheer work ethic and physical resilience. Kane lauded Bellingham's performance as another absolute masterclass, pointing out that Jude looks phenomenally fit, sharp, and operates with a permanent bit between his teeth, driven by a deep, relentless desire to go out onto the pitch and prove to the world exactly what kind of rare talent he is. Kane went on to dissect the specific tactical attributes that make Bellingham an absolute dream for a striker to play with. He praised the absolute quality of the cross that led to the historic 11th goal, but emphasized that what truly sets Jude apart is his non-stop engine. Kane highlighted Bellingham's willingness to execute the dirty work, the constant tracking back, the lung-bursting runs from deep, the defensive tackling, and the aggressive pressing. The captain noted that Bellingham is incredibly physical, remarkably strong, and uniquely difficult for opposing defenders to track because his movement without the ball is completely unpredictable. Kane concluded by stating that no matter where Tuchel deploys him on the pitch, Bellingham is completely effective, asserting that he is precisely the type of character and standard setter that England needs if they want to go all the way and lift the trophy. This public exchange of profound respect between the team's two focal points couldn't have come at a better time for Thomas Tuchel. By securing the top spot in Group L with 7 points, England successfully avoided a nightmare path through the knockout stages, booking a highly anticipated round of 32 showdown against DR Congo in Atlanta. Had the vibes in the camp been sour, or had the tactical friction of the first half against Panama carried over into the locker room, the narrative surrounding England would be one of panic and instability. Instead, Bellingham's sweet statement and Kane's glowing response have created an impenetrable shield of positivity around the squad. They have shown the rest of the world that their leadership spine is completely united, emotionally grounded, and firing on all cylinders. As the tournament shifts into the high-stakes environment of the single-elimination knockout rounds, the tactical bond between Bellingham and Kane will be the absolute foundation upon which England's destiny is built. Thomas Tuchel noted in his own post-match briefing that the tournament truly starts over now, declaring that the bigger the games get, the bigger his players will become. With Bellingham operating as the dynamic, explosive engine in the heart of the midfield and Harry Kane operating as the clinical, history-making spearhead up front, England possesses a dual-threat combination that can unlock any defensive structure on the planet. But more than their tactical utility, it is the genuine love, the unselfish camaraderie, and the mutual respect captured in Bellingham's post-match comments that make this specific iteration of the Three Lions feel entirely different. They aren't playing for individual brands or escaping media criticism. They are playing for each other, protecting their captain's legacy and marching toward the ultimate prize with a shared, unbreakable vision of footballing glory.